Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you to the organization for the opportunity to present my talk. And the Ravenna project just in Pils. This is the first CCS hub in Italy and Mediterranean Sea and is coming from a joint venture by SNAM and ENI, operated by the ENI. And it consists of two phases. The phase one, starting in 2024, not started yet, and it consists of injection of 25 kilotons per year coming from Ravenna industrial plant and stored in offshore depleted gas reservoir. And the second phase that starts in 2027. It consists of an injection of 4 megatons here from Ravenna industrial plant and third-party emitters. Okay, toward the geophysical monitoring, about it, CMS at INGV was selected as a technical body responsible for the monitoring of the project. This come from the legal framework and by the ILG, the Italian guidelines uh, for the monitoring, issued by the Italia Oil and Gas Safety Authority in 2014 and 2016. Regulating procedure responsibilities and roles in the monitoring of the resources exploitation as hydrocarbon exploitation, wastewater injection, natural gas storage, and geothermal energy production. The ELG defined the standard and best practice for the monitoring of pore pressure, microseismicity, and ground deformation, and entrust to SPM to this talk to do this. How CMS was selected as a SPM? Okay, is a labyrinth like this of the Paula, but in green. And become an SPM is a complex implementation. In fact, the monitoring project are assigned to according to a 5 stage. The first stage is a public call issued by the Ministry of Environmental and Energy Security. After that, an SPM is selected, and the stage 3 is a framework agreement among the SPM, the Ministry, the local and regional governments, and the exploitation operator. And the stage 4 is a contract with financial obligation between the operator and the local and regional governments. And the stage 5 is a contract financial with obligation with the SPM and the local and regional governments. Why this complicated procedure? Because the guarantees the impartiality and the independence of the SPM and its technical and scientific analysis. SPM must be neutral and unbiased with respect the operator. Okay, what is CMS? is the Centro di Monitoraggio del Sottosuolo in italiano, as a Subsoil Monitoring Center. Is the structure that deals with the systematic detection of the seismicity and soil deformation for the anthropic activities. CMS is a team of seismologists, researchers, geologists, and engineers. And you can see by the sketch the other project ongoing in Italy. What are the tasks from the guidelines recommendation? The SPM are an independent technical body with the task of conducting preliminary monitoring of background seismicity. Following the recommendation is at least 1 year before the new activity, in order to allow the definition of a reference baseline under the unperturbed conditions, as we just discussed before. Validating and supervising the monitoring structures, networks, data flows, interpreting data, and then reporting to local and national authorities the results. The state of the art of Ravenna Hub is injection. The phase one is hasn't been started yet, but it will probably start next summer. And what SPM is going to do now is concluding the financial obligation and the operational protocols, and beginning the data analysis for the baseline assessment. This is the figures of the GNS monitoring network and seismic monitoring network. The GNS station are in part onshore and in part installed on the platforms. And for the seismic monitoring network, the seismic stations are installed in part onshore and in parts on the seafloor. Okay, an example of the seismic monitoring by CMS in other projects. The data from integrated networks, seismic networks, are analyzed in a real-time software, producing an automatic determination of hypocenter and magnitude events. These automatic events are reviewed by expert analysts within the subsequent day, and after that, a daily bulletin is issued. This is an example of the ground deformation by GNS ground displacement, INSAR analysis, and QGPS. Okay, and an example of decision model and tools. To make a decision during the monitoring project is important two principal factors. Define the first one is define specific boundaries of the survey volume, and the second one is define the threshold beyond which is necessary to make decision within a decisional protocols. An example of the traffic light system. And to define the right thresholds, site-specific studies are necessary, using the seismic data recorded before the activities, the baseline. In absence of site-specific studies, like like Ravenna in our cases, ILG guidelines suggest a threshold matrix for a traffic-like system, only for seismicity and ground motion parameters. Okay, conclusions are there. Ravenna Hub is a very important project for the entire Mediterranean Sea, but the phase one of the Ravenna project hasn't started yet. And CMS was selected as a SPM to carry out the geophysical monitoring and is ready to start. As you can see before, become an SPM following the guidelines is a complex implementation. And previous experience with monitoring project taught us the importance of defining sensitive survey volumes and thresholds. In absence of site-specific studies, guidelines suggest the threshold for a traffic-like system, an example. And that's all.